All right, hello everyone. Um, I know it's kind of late into the month, but I kind of don't want to record sometimes when I only have just pure coding stuff going on. It's really kind of hard to explain or show anything interesting. But I'm at the point where I would like to show some stuff for what I'm doing this month. I had a plan. I probably should fix this. Which is that I wanted to make a kind of node-based behavior system that I could reuse when I'm doing adventure type games, because I want to do Zomega, which is my my zombie adventure game. However, the problem with that is that Zomega is a pretty, I don't know, a lot of the pieces that I found when I was doing it in Ludum Dare were being reused many times. So I wanted to do a behavior system that I could then reuse in all sorts of adventure games if I'd like. So here we are. It's called Marrow, as in bone marrow, and it is pretty cool because I have been learning how to do custom editing. Let's go ahead and close the tab and I'll explain it from the beginning here. Showing how to do, learning how to do custom editing in Unity. Because, one thing I do know about Unity is that a large part of its power comes from the fact that it is extensible and you can write your own stuff to do whatever. And yet I simply haven't done any of that. So this is just a cube and a scene, but let's go ahead and go to Window, and I'm going to open up the Marrow editor, and you'll see right now there's no Marrow object selected, so I can't do anything. But if I go ahead and go to the cube here, you'll see that I have a Marrow script on the cube. And here's a toolbar that contains all the nodes that I have. So let's go ahead and make an interaction node, put it over here, and then we can go ahead and make a broadcast node, and we'll put it over here. And you'll see there's a little inspector that pops up over right here for what we should do. So let's say hello. So on interact, hello, and I can click on this thing, and then this thing, and they're connected. And now if I go ahead and save it and run it, hello. The way that it works is that I have a script here, the narration script, I believe. Oh, it just works on interact. Currently, I believe I have it set to, I ran the auto commenting thing on this. I'm not going to do that for every node, but just for this one. No, wait, I need to do this on the main Marrow script. Just this one. I'm not going to put this on it. This is going to be changed. But you get the idea here. This is kind of for testing. Basically, and I can control right click to delete a node, and it didn't delete for some reason. Why didn't it delete? That was strange. It should have deleted. Okay, well, whatever. Well, as soon as you guys decide to show up, that's when it doesn't work. It was working fine before, but now it doesn't want to do it, or whatever. Okay. So I'll show you some of the things I got right here. So let's go ahead and do another interact, and then we'll do a cycle here, and we connect this up, and let's broadcast. Make 2 more broadcast nodes. Yeah, it was working fine. The deleting and editing stuff was working fine up until I decided to show you. Whatever. It's still pretty early here. All right, on interact, I'll say 1, and this other interact, I'll say 2. And if you look over here on cycle, we have 2 outputs, and we're setting it to repeat. So if I run this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I can also turn it off, so it'll cycle through the output nodes. I have a bunch of other ones here. I can generate random numbers. I can generate true and false values. I have booleans here, so if I have whatever, I'll do that. Now, one thing you know what? I'm not sure actually. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. True. Let's do a random true false, and you see trans true is 0, so let's make that something other than 0. 50% chance. Okay, actually, let's get rid of this thing here. Yeah, no, it's still there. Huh. I don't know why it's not working. For some reason, it looks like the nodes aren't being saved to the script. It might be because I started messing with the object by default to fix a bug earlier. If they all disappear now, it's going to be an issue. Is it? Did they all disappear? Wow. Okay. Great. All right, let's do this. Delete. Go away. Let's make a brand new thing that doesn't have any sort of stuff here. I think it's because I fixed a bug, and what it seems like is that stuff gets out of sync with the serialization if you mess with it. So there you go. But we can go ahead and do that right now. It doesn't really matter. We'll add a Marrow component, right? And then we'll add a narration component, and now we should be good. Okay, let's go back to the cube. Let's go to our input in our interact, and then we'll get our random true or false generator, and then we'll get our boolean for and. Now, interact is true if you are interacting on the current frame. The next frame it will update and it will be false. That's just the way that interact works. No, I didn't output. There we go. And this you can set to a different default if you like. I think that's going to be the most useful one though. On interact false. On interact true. Now it's always going to return false because I haven't done a thing here. Let's see, 50%. All right, this one should work. True, 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 false, true, true, true. So it's 50% chance of being true or false, right? Yeah. See, that time it worked because I think it has to do with the way that the serialization gets in and out of sync. So never mess with the nodes directly. You should always run it through this toolbar. But they have to be public, so I don't think I can do anything to hide them anymore. So don't mess with them directly. You can break everything. But there you go. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. I don't have everything generated, but you have that idea. All right. You can split it so it sends to multiple outputs. Different stuff happens. The broadcast one simply sends a message to the game object. So you can then wire it up to the game object. In this case, it's the narration object that tells the GUI text what to do. So there we go. Now let's take a look a little bit on the back end, because this is the part that I thought was pretty fun. The editor here. So a lot of stuff I've been learning with C#. I honestly didn't know anything here. It uses reflection a lot. So basically, all you have to do as a let's go ahead and make one actually. I don't know what we'll do. Let's do a I don't even know. So let's take a look at just one of these then. Let's take a look at the broadcast node. Broadcast node is really simple. It inherits from output node, and I can give it a default message, and when it's enabled, that is when the game starts, it'll be set to the default message here. if it's null. Otherwise, it'll be whatever. Whatever the message actually is. This is serialized. This is a Marrow property, which tags it as being something that shows up in the inspector. I'll probably run something so I can auto-generate a nicer thing right there. And there it goes. On input, it's going to send to the game object that it is attached to. Send a message. And we have a bunch of them here. Generators. Generators generate a float or an int. By default, the int is just a rounded thing of the float. You could generate however you want. I also have this one. This one's technically in the generator category. Generates random true or false. Super simple. So all you really have to do is inherit from one of the nodes. Ideally, you probably don't even want to inherit directly from Marrow node. You probably want to inherit from input or output or one of these other ones that have a bit more functionality. Actually, I don't need that. So the game will then find all of the appropriate nodes and add them. So you don't have to do anything special. Just inherit from a node and generate your custom stuff. So for instance, another one I might have here would be an input node that sends a message if you get close to it, right? Or there's one that could be that resolves as true if you're close to it. So interact could be like within player within distance, right? Or whatever. And then interact. And if both of those are true, if the player is close enough and it interacts, then it does whatever. I should actually make sure that it doesn't do anything special. Let me double check that deletion is working, because maybe I just did break something. Yeah, yep, I got rid of it. Okay. I don't know if it does it. Did I screw this up? It should be smart enough not to do anything if you try to send an output that doesn't exist. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, it should just only work now if it's true. But you won't see any difference because it's the way that the narration works. Shouldn't try to send to a null output. All right, so I actually want to do more with Marrow. It's kind of at a point where I can use it to do stuff, and I probably will. I think what I'm going to do for the last 2 weeks of this is make a little adventure game, something very simple and self-contained that I use to kind of work out the bugs in how this system works. I don't even know if I'm going to release it to the wild. It will definitely be available for everyone, but I don't know how supported it'll be. Because like I want to be able to use it in game jams and stuff. And for instance, for Ludum Dare, I need to provide the library if I want to use it for my base code. I also don't necessarily want to be providing support for something that I want to use internally just to do stuff, but it exists. So what I'm probably going to do with this is make a little simple adventure game. And I think that Marrow, what I'm going to have is that Marrow is not just going to have the behaviors here, it's also going to have stuff like inventory management. So it has an inventory system and a few more interaction stuff that comes up a lot, like proximity and pointing at things and stuff like that. Stuff that's general enough that you don't always want to use it, but that I use a lot of times, and I don't necessarily want to be rewriting that code over and over, or just trying to copy it back and forth. But I'm really pleased because I literally had no idea about any of this stuff 10 days ago when I started working on this. I didn't know anything about C# reflection. I didn't know anything about how to code code extensions for the Unity GUI. None of that. And now I have something that exists and it works, and it's pretty cool how you can do stuff and it works automatically. You don't have to think about it, and that's my goal, is to be able to say, okay, I'm going to just wire this up to make it run. Now, it's not a general. It can't be used for everything. It's not meant to be used like a state machine or everything else. It's meant to be for behaviors and content generation. I was looking for some, and I found one called like the spaghetti machine, which looks like a very good general solution, but it's $100, and $100 means I can't use it in like Ludum Dare, because it'd be code that's not allowed. I'd have to release it along with the source. I'm okay with doing, say, play mode, because that's only within the editor. But if I was doing, this is why I couldn't use, say, Easy Touch to do all my touch stuff in my my Beat game, because Easy Touch is a commercial library. All right, so this needs to be a free library so that I can use it, and so I will. And I'm going to add a bunch of options here, but I don't necessarily know what I'm going to add right now. My basic goal is to have something that I can use. And it's specifically meant for content generation and adventure games and stuff like that. Possibly even like RPG type games where, you know, a lot of times the things that happen, it's for behaviors where the thing that happens is a one-off behavior. It's specific to that one object rather than being general to multiple things. So content-based games. And I feel like in an LD and other things that I am by far the best, at my best when I am generating content, and not when I am trying to code complex mechanics, because mechanics I don't get, and content I can write, you know, well enough to do stuff that I like. I can do graphics okay, I can do writing okay, I'm just not a very good coder. Alright, so there you go. I don't think I'm going to have this up on GitHub for a little while, probably not until I feel like it's something that you can use without breaking your computer. I may or may not clean this up a little bit. It's very basic right now. It's not meant to be used in anything seriously, so. And it's still very much in flux. I don't want to put it on GitHub before I have the API more or less set. It's gotten to the point where I'm not changing it very much, but I still am making changes, and I would be breaking things every day if anybody else was using this. I don't want to do that. All right. Well, thanks for watching. That's my current update. I'll show you what I've got when I decide to make a game. I think it's going to be like a game where maybe you're underwater and you're in a submarine and you're trying to escape or do something. It's probably going to be like a 1 or 2 room escape game rather than a very complex thing. It's a proof of concept and a smoke test for the editor. All right, thanks.